let's get into Doug Ford being, well, just being Doug.
Doug Ford.
I think we'll go to the video first, because he said we need to speed up work permits for tens of thousands of asylum seekers at taxpayer-funded hotels. And according to the federal government, that gravy train with biscuit wheels is rolling out of the station, and the asylum seekers ain't on it, because they're going to stop paying for the 2.5 to 3-star hotels that these people are occupying after entering illegally into our country. And Doug Ford says, well, we got to get them to work then. I have a different solution, Doug.
As well, what we did communicate around the table, and all the premiers agreed that we need more say into our immigration process, very, very similar to Quebec. We want to really focus on economic immigration. Along with my comments about work permitting, I don't want to take the responsibility off the federal government, but in saying that, if you have a pulse and you're healthy, you need to be working. You come to our country. First, they have to go through the system. So I'll give you an example how the system's getting worse through the federal government, not better. You know, they say they issued 70,000 work permits. Well, we have 90,000 people coming in, and altogether there's about 139,000. David, you have the numbers down better. I think across the country you're mentioning over 280,000 backlogged. I'm very concerned, which the Prime Minister never mentioned to me, about cutting off the funding in literally a month in September for everyone in the hotels. I have quite a few asylum seekers in the hotel in our area and across, especially in Niagara and other areas. The federal government has to go in there and find out who's eligible. The whole system has to have integrity. Who's eligible, who's not. We're a very welcoming country, very welcoming province, and I've always said, people come here, they come here, and it's a privilege to be a Canadian. You go out there, you work hard, and you contribute to society, and you pay your taxes. What's very concerning to me is that we're spending $1 billion, and I've had a few phone calls about, I'm not handing out work permits to every Tom, Dick, and Harry. It's just not happening. What we are doing is, when we're spending $1 billion and it's taking 2 years, and people are sitting there, not because they don't want to work, because they don't have a work permit. So that's $1 billion there. And then the feds are adding another $1 billion on accommodations. And if they get rid of that, that's another $500 million, a burden that falls on the taxpayers of Ontario. And I just go back to, again, if you're here, if you're healthy, you need to be working. You need to be contributing to society. You need to be contributing to the tax base. And what else is happening? A lot of these folks that are here, they want to work. We're paying them to sit around, which is crazy. But then they're out there standing on certain corners within the city, and contractors will come by, pick them up, and they're paying them cash under the table. So we're losing a tax base on that. And these people have come here for a better life. And if they truly aren't asylum seekers, and they aren't being threatened in their own country, that's up to the federal government to make sure they're very clear. The people that aren't here based on that, they need to move forward and go back and then reapply through the immigration.
Thank you. Yeah,
that's enough, Doug. There's something missing in all of this, and Doug, that's the jobs. You don't have the supply of jobs for these people. I pulled the numbers as he was talking and trying to figure out what his train of thought was there. We heard
never heard a more rambling. So, Doug, where are you going with this? Like, what are you trying to say, Doug? It really sounds like he's trying to criticize the federal government without actually criticizing the federal government. That's what he was trying to do.
Here's his problem. They said they're going to cut off funding to the migrant hotels, which means that the provinces are going to pick it up because nobody plans to deport these people. And so he's like, oh, great. Now we're going to be stuck paying the bill. But
Yeah.
what Doug Ford isn't doing is saying these people have to go back home.
That's right.
And here's out of the corner of my eye, I pulled it up as he was talking, because you and I have talked about this. The jobs that the temporary foreign workers and the migrants are doing, if they do indeed come, but it's mostly the temporary foreign workers that come to work, they're doing the jobs teenage Canadians used to do in the before times.
And with youth unemployment at unprecedented levels.
Actually,
our young people cannot find jobs, cannot get jobs. Go ahead.
If we, and that's why the numbers are important. If we jettisoned the temporary foreign workforce, which is like at 1 in 5 jobs in this country, 1 in 5 jobs in this country is done by a temporary foreign worker.
That's incredible.
Just in Ontario alone, this would fix it and then some.
Right.
The unemployment rate for teenagers aged 15 to 19, 22.2%.
Unprecedented unemployment.
Up 7.5% since 2019. Well, since the migrant surge. So no, Doug, don't give these people work permits. Send them back and then send everybody else back too, so that young Ontarians can find work.
Yeah, and what I didn't hear Doug Ford say is turn off the tap. Stop bringing new Canadians in to fill up the hotels, to create problems, to sit on unemployment, to waste taxpayer dollars. He didn't say that either. Stop this program in its entirety. Stop bringing new people in. Send the people back that aren't being a benefit to our society. He didn't say any of that. As a matter of fact, the one thing that he did say was the prime minister. I didn't hear the prime minister say that. You mean your sleepover during your sleepover at your Muskoka cottage, Doug? The prime minister didn't divulge to you the way that he was going to screw you. He didn't tell you how he was going to bend you over? Well, I never.
When he was being Big Spoon, he didn't hear this?
Who's Big Spoon? It's Doug. Yeah.
It's Doug. He's a ladle. He's a little ladle. And then he says, we can't sustain the current pace of asylum seekers. Again,
we've been saying this for the better part of 3, 4, 5 years. Yeah.
Yeah. Do we have that video, or is it the same one where he says we can't sustain the current pace? And it's like, well, you know what? When you're having your romantic getaways with the prime minister, would you mind whispering in his ear and tell him we can't sustain this? Because he just said we need to give all of them work permits, regardless of the job supply in this country.
And their training and their skill set. Like, this is an invitation for disaster. So say you have a shortage in trucking or in transportation. You're just going to shoehorn the first, 10, 15,000 people who show up in a line into trucking and transportation.
What could possibly go wrong?
What could possibly go wrong, you guys? Do tell us in the live chat, what could possibly go wrong? Public safety. Like, this is not the way to go about filling all of the job vacancies in your province, Doug. This is not the way to do it. But I love how it only gets brought up when, like, all of the hotel rooms in Niagara are being taken up by refugees, and then when the tourists show up in summer and they're like leaving bad reviews. I was at the Comfort Inn at Niagara Falls, and it was absolutely full. It was absolutely full of non-English speaking immigrants that were cooking in their rooms and catching chickens outside and doing all of the things. Yeah. Well, it was a problem before, Doug, not just before tourist season. So
yeah. And I mean, it's a problem for the economy of Ontario.
Yeah.
And the workers of Ontario.
Sure it is.
Those are the people you're supposed to care about. Not even the tourists. I mean, I guess you care about the tourists because of the tourism industry that affects Ontarians. But like, Ontario's young people are being systemically unemployed by this nonsense.
But does Doug really care? Like, considering what's happening in education in Ontario, does Doug really care about the young people of Ontario? Does he?
No.